Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim Na Yahaba Shem Yashaba Shem Hakudash, and double honors to the great Muslim apostles, Thadi Ashah for the strength and all to make this video, and Yarasazar they find this edifying, and of course exhorting as well, man. I've been intending to make this video, but sometimes you do other videos and then, they replace the actual video they intend to do, but sometimes you just roll with the spirit in it. But now that the opportunities here, I just wanted to make the video, as I named it, along the lines of one people shall be stronger than the other. I could even start up with that precept right now before, I get into the camp video, man. And really, what even gave me the idea for the video was when Captain was speaking and the elder as well on the education on the education system, on Moab, and on a few other topics as well. Really, just Esau's weakness as well, and Jake being the form of all things. So that's what this this lesson is going to be about, man. So yeah, let me get the precept. So just for some context here, this is when this is referring to the children of Rebecca, obviously Isaac and Rebecca, going in and having two sons, man. You could liken them as twins. He even mentions it, yeah, they're twins, Jacob and Esau. So anyways, the key part is verse 23. So Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. You see, so this is really the foundation of this lesson right here, man. And that's really talk about Israelites, Jacob, which is one nation, Israel being one nation, being stronger than the Edomites, which is another nation right there. So the so-called white people, and then you got Jake, the so-called black people. Which really, they're not, Jake ain't just, so-called black people. It's the Negroes, the Latinos, and the Native American Indians. So yeah, man, that's really the point there. Let me get back to the video though. So yeah, this was really 2 weeks ago, or I should say, hold on. Yes, what's the date today? It's Monday today. Yes, Monday today. So this was the camp previous to the recent one on Saturday. Which Saturday was let me see, it was the 5th, isn't it? Yeah, Saturday was the 5th. So the camp before the 5th, this is what this is on. But yeah, let me just play it and Yaratazama make some points, man.
From the age of 5 to, is it 16 now?
Yeah, 16.
It used to be 18.
Jesus, he ends at 16.
16. Yeah. So from 5 to 18, that is what, 11 years?
Yeah.
And then let's just say you go to college and university, from 16 to 21 is 5 years. So 5 plus 11, 16 years.
Yeah.
16 years of your life, you've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
So by the time you're 22, I was a good nigga. I'm a slave.
Yep. I love the Esau.
Yep. What's up, master? What's up, master?
It's we sick, master.
But they make you think you made it because you got a suit and a tie.
Yeah. And you got the credits too.
You holding that briefcase, walking into the office, thinking you made it. You just a house nigga.
That's all you are. That's all it is. You're like the old saying goes among Jake. You're just an educated fool. That's all there is to it. Because the reason why they put you through these school systems, as the brothers are going into, is so that you can be indoctrinated in their own way. It's not so that you could be free from the world and start your own thing and develop your own economy. No, it's for you to influence people to actually better this economy.
That's why in school they don't really teach you how to even get ahead in this society, especially Jake, man. Going to all these public schools. Really, I'm referring to the UK school system. Of course, brothers who can talk on the America one, they can talk on the America one. But I'm speaking on the UK education system, man. That's why they don't teach you, about money and making wise investments. That's just one aspect. They don't really teach you how to critically think. I don't know about the people who study psychology, what they taught there, but the point is they don't really teach you as a core skill having critical thinking, man. So you're able to, as Elder said, lead yourself into society and discern bullshit from the real deal, from real value. But the school system is really just to produce workers. So it's just, as Captain and Elder were alluding to, it's just slavery but in a different form. That's what it's all about.
That's the whole purpose.
And the elder said the right word, indoctrination. That schooling system available today, it is not education. The word education means from the Latin educare, which means to bring out from within. In school, they don't bring.
And it's true. Let me get that, Yaratazan. Let me get that. Because it is rooted from the word educare. Let me just get because I did some research. So to educate, this is Etymology Online Dictionary, as you can see here. Educate, mid 15th century. It says educaten, bring up, children to train, from Latin educatus, past participle of educare, as he just mentioned, to bring up, rear, educate. Let's get to the point, because I know it says it here, where it says educare. So the word educare, hold on, let me see something. Related to educare, it means to bring out, lead forth. So that's what educate comes from as well, man, from the root word educare, which is of course similar to educare, which means to bring out. It says to bring up. When you're bringing up something, when you're bringing out something, that's supposed to be like an innate ability that's enhanced, man, or that's honed. So, this is what Captain was referring to when he said educare or educare, as you can see here in this word. So that means to bring out. Of course, educare here, it says to bring up, rear, or educate. That's just to get some clarity on the root word from educate, man, which Esau's not bringing out nothing from the individuals that attend schools. So the young ones, it always goes down to the question, what are you getting taught in school, man? You're not getting taught much, are you? Jay ain't really interested in the school system anyways. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be parents teaching their children, but because of the curses and the fact that you've got to go to work and all that, other responsibilities, there's not really enough time for parents to actually dedicate to teach their child, man. I remember when my dad, during my younger years, primary school, where he actually gave me some side homework as well, man, to just increase my multiplication abilities as well. Just some basic maths, primary school level. So he did what he could, man. He did what he could, but at the end of the day, Jake is limited in Esau's kingdom. He can't really be truly educated. Really, we get our education, that for those of us in this truth, through the scriptures. That's when you really start to get the rivers of flowing water in the wisdom of the scriptures.
Which means to bring out from within. In school, they don't bring out anything from within. They put stuff from out inside.
Right.
That's indoctrination.
And that's why in school, all they really want you to do too is to what? Memorize what you were taught. Which goes back to the word also intelligence. So you're telling the information that you're being told.
Intel. See?
Intel.
There you go. That's why you got nations like Moab and that. Oh, he's
and intel is just short for intelligence, in case anyone was wondering. So, which is just basically information. But let's continue on.
Smart. They're not smart. They're just made to do shit on repeat. But they're how do I say? They're biochemics. Links up with Esau's education system, indoctrinate and repeat.
But you see, that's the kicker. Because if they're going to be the sweatshop of the world, they need to be the best the best to be indoctrinated.
So that's why everyone thinks Moab's smart. Moab ain't smart.
Yeah, man. If you watch them Chinese documentaries, man, on obviously you could get into the documentaries based on like manufacturing, but mainly I've been watching the ones on the education system, man. I think the GCSE equivalent is called a Gaokao, over there in China, man. And students be sweating and stressing just to just to get to that obviously top percentile, so that they're able to go to the top universities, man, or else they're gonna have to get a regular labor job, which obviously their parents aren't really pushing for that, man. But yeah, there's this you could call it like a roboticness to Moab, man. Everything's got to be structured and done properly. In fact, let me even get a precept on that. Let's see. Because, they're the ones that which the Mosai has used. We know the scripture, but I'm going to bring out this and then bring out Jeremiah 48. But yeah, it says here in Psalm 60 and 8, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia triumph, though thou be thou because of me. So, referring to Moab, it says Moab is my washpot. And then we know that a washpot is, of course, used to clean things, man. After all the residues on the plate, and on the other, utensils that are used, the point here that the Most High is saying is that Moab is used as the cleanup after, man. Obviously, Yaratazar, I might even need to get deeper into to find some examples of that too. More of actually gathering remnants of resources from places so that they can produce it for themselves, man, or utilize it for themselves. But despite this, man, Moab ain't really shit if you're really gonna get to the fundamental. A washpot is just a cleaning instrument. So that's what Moab is. And remember, these other nations, including Moab, of course Edom as well, they're regarded as spittle at the end of the day. So the Most High will use them for whatever low purpose that they'll be used for, which is really all in all just to serve Israel at the end of the day. But let's get Jeremiah. Hold on, Jeremiah 48. And then verse 29 and 30 should be the key one. You see, so it says here, Jeremiah 48 and 29, we have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceeding proud. His loftiness and his arrogancy and his pride and the haughtiness of his heart. And why do you think that Moab is prideful, man? All you got to do is just observe how the nation is. I remember, obviously, this is still happening today, but I mean, right now it's like divided between, Elam and India in terms of production to the whole world, and Moab as well. But back in the day, like, early 2000s, mid 2000s, obviously I can speak just based on what time I've lived. But, early 2000s, mid 2000s as well, everything, like little toys that I was playing with, man, everyone was saying, made in China, made in China, made in China. So they were really that production hub, of the world. That's what Moab was. So all of that also connotes that all of that would lift up Moab. Since they know fundamentally, okay, they export a very good portion to a lot of countries, which would obviously help with their GDP, their economy. This would help, this would then lead to them, gaining more pride, man. They also got their nuclear missiles, that also helps as well, their strength, because, that's why they're regarded as a superpower as well, from an economical standpoint, in the military standpoint as well. They have a strong military too. And then, what else? But yeah, it really does keep us economically and militarily, I could say. So we have heard the pride of Moab. So all of this then has lifted up the heart of Moab, man. The Most has allowed that to happen. That's why, you have people in these podcasts saying, these political podcasts where saying Moab might be the next superpower, but they're not the next superpower. So verse 30, Jeremiah 40 and 30, I know his wrath, saith the Lord Yahweh, but it shall not be so. His lies shall not so affect it. So, of course, whatever Moab be claiming that is going to do, or, whatever fronting that is going to do, it ain't going to accomplish fully, man. Now, of course, against Babylon the Great, whatever the Most High has for Moab to do, which of course, we know will be nuclear missiles sent to Babylon, you know, it will happen. So the Most High is going to allow Moab to be used against Babylon. But all in all, you know, even Moab themselves, they're going to be humbled too. So don't think that these Moabites, the so-called Chinese, by the way, are anything to regard as, you know, Captain's going to speak on it. Let me just play the video.
Moab is smart. His biochemics just links up with Esau's idea.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Moab Chinese, they're so smart. No. They're just good at copy and paste.
They're programmable.
Yeah. Have man 19 hours in a sweatshop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sewing on the Nike, the Air Forces. You know.
On the algorithm.
You know, just don't bleed, no break. You know, 23 hours. You know, till his fingers are bleeding. Just on some sewing machine, packing up Air Force Ones, made in China. What the fuck, bro? Are you trying to tell me that that's the epitome of intellect? Come on, man.
Yeah, man, these are repetitive tasks, man. These are repetitive tasks. Even because right now I think Moab right now they're also evolving in terms of their AI technology. So right now there's an AI arms race. You know, I say AI arms race. You know, but really like a race to see who would be dominant in AI. You know, between Moab and all these other nations like you know, America predominantly. It's mainly China and America right now. Those are like at the forefront. I think there's a few other countries, but even then, AI, all AI really is just trained on previous data, man. So, you know, Moab is just Moab is just known as that robotic nation, just to add more clarity as well.
It's all bullshit, man.
That's why you got Edomites that are dumb. When you check it, Esau is the closest nation to Israel.
Yeah.
A lot of Edomites don't even thrive in their own education system because their biochemics is different to a Chinese.
Yeah.
So you can have an Edomite that can see. Yeah, I don't get it. And then I remember, we're in 2025, maybe about 2017, BBC did an article, and it was actually on the news that white English boys are getting the worst GCSE grades. I don't know if this stats.
You could literally search. I mean, I already did in the video. You know, I'm gonna bring it out soon, literally in the video. But all you gotta do is just search it up. HMRC has an official article or post which actually mentioned it for recently, just a few years back, not current year, but for a few years back, like 2022, 2023, based on GCSE results by ethnic groups. So let's see.
Change, but that was around 2017, 2018. Out of all of the country, the GCSE results, General Certificate of Secondary Education, white English boys were getting the worst grades across England in GCSEs, nationwide. That's what I was looking for. White English boys are getting the worst GCSE results nationwide. So they ain't even thriving in their own
AKA Edomites.
They set up, man.
Damn. Yeah.
You got niggas surpassing them.
Yeah.
Nigger. Yeah, could be smarter than you, man.
I actually got it right here.
You got it?
Yeah, HMRC.
Biochemics is fucked, man.
HMRC says GCSE results, and it says the key part, it says main facts and figures. In 2022 to 2023 school year, the average score for attainment 8, the measure of pupils' performance in 8 GCSE level of qualifications was 46.3 out of 90.0. Let's get to the point. It says pupils from Chinese ethnic group had the highest attainment 8 score out of all ethnic groups, but it says for the lowest ones, on average.
Now remember, so look, you're gonna hear that soon. But the point is, on Moab here, considering how the Most High has also created them to be quite robotic. You know, even just the precept Psalm 60 and 8, you know, Moab is my wash spot. Isn't a wash spot just made for that one purpose? You know, Moab being robotic, of course, it makes sense as well, you know. with him being able to adopt certain patterns, which really all the GCSE really is, you know. Forgot what it even stood for, man, but it's let me just search out. But the point is, GCSEs is really memorize what you can and then spit it out on paper in a certain manner. You know, for certain ones like English language, it's hold on. For certain ones like English language, the way you put the answer is obviously different. You know, but for things like biology, physics, chemistry, you gotta memorize the information and just practice how to give it in a way that they would understand. And Moab, of course, is we're quite good at that, man. You know, remember they have that robotic they're like the robot nations, the robots amongst the nations. You know, hence why everything's just allocated to them to just produce. You know, get to the pattern. Hold on, let's see. What does GCSE stand for? I know Captain said it, but I forgot, man. So General Certificate of Secondary Education, man. They are highly valued by schools, colleges, and employers. The qualification mainly involves studying the theory of a subject together with some investigative work, while some subjects also involve practical work. Yeah. You know, so that's GCSEs for you. That's like the UK exam, the major exam before you then get to college. I know America calls university college, but there's like a phase before college. I mean, there's a phase before university called either college or A levels. It's at the same levels between the ages of 16 and 18. Before that, you know, what's it called? 16, 15, 14. I think between ages 14 and 16, that's when they start to prepare you for GCSEs, you know, year 10 to year 11. You know, so obviously year 9, they warm you up. But point is, so that is a major exam in the UK between ages 14 and 16, man. 16 is when you actually sit the final GCSE exam. You know, year 10, you get practice for it.
Let's get to the point. It says pupils from Chinese ethnic group had the highest attainment 8 score out of all ethnic groups. But it said for the lowest ones, on average, white pupils scored lower than the average score for England.
Damn, Esau's fucked.
No?
You fucked in your own education
Oh boy, damn indeed, man. But yeah, Esau's done, man. Esau's finished.
system.
That's crazy.
And this is
They set the standard,
no,
didn't
the
they?
system's set for them to win.
Yeah.
And you got Chinese coming in, eager. Shit better than you, bro.
You kick your ass, man. You know? Shit.
Hold on.
Yes, that's that they're taking our jobs. that spirit, man.
But you know what it is, though, right? It's because these guys are entitled.
That's it. There you go.
They're entitled. So when you've grown up in a society that's giving you a plethora of opportunities and put the supremacy in your name, because of course you have the things such as white supremacy, right? With all of that being said, they didn't have to really put too much work in.
Nope.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable and of course your offsprings, they're gonna become comfortable the same way. So why would they need to actually put the work in and get smart to get these jobs and everything?
Yeah, it's their kingdom, man. So of course they're gonna have certain privileges, which will have their life on easy mode. And I'm obviously elders talking about the Edomites here, you know. So yeah, man. You know, more with their pattern recognition, you know, robotic type of mentality. You know, when it comes to true problem solving, you know, that's a major test for them, isn't it? But yeah, anyways, man, that's really what Jake Reed specializes in true problem solving. But let's get to it.
It ain't gonna be in it. So this is the reason why. Go on, brother.
Jeremiah 51 and 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them,
Yeah.
for he is the former of all things,
God.
and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his.
Key phrase in Jeremiah 51:19, as the brother I am the Allah just read. You know, it said the former of all things, meaning Jake, Israelites, are the origin of really all the things of which you see as normal or innovative, or they're really the pioneers of society. If anything, one could even say, because of course the first fruits here, referring to the first fruits, the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, they're the pioneers of the whole of creation. And of course, with the credit going on to Yahweh, man, who gave the blueprint onto Yahweh Shai, of whom led that creation process, man. Which that's a topic for another day. But the point is, Israelites are the pioneers of society, man. Even just something basic as well, like the Super Soaker. It was actually a so-called black man that created it. I think recently he got awarded a few $1 million, not pounds, a few $1 million for that Super Soaker that he created, man. Remember Nerf? You probably heard that. The Super Soaker is a water gun, in case you don't know. In fact, let me see if I can get that one quickly too. Creator of Super Soaker rewarded. As I said, even just basic stuff like this, like we say it's basic, but because obviously this is intended to have fun with, it says Lonnie Johnson, the inventor of Super Soaker, was awarded $72.9 million settlement from Hasbro, which is a toy company, in 2013 for unpaid royalties related to the toy sales. You see, for years they didn't award Jay, man, but it's like, okay, now the Most has allowed him to get that reward. See, so he was the one who created the Super Soaker, Lonnie Johnson. As it says right here, you can see him with the gun, man. With that water gun. Yeah, that's him right there. So, Jacob is the former of all things. There's many things, man. Even, I believe, Chris as well, go back to Jake too. There's many, many things, man. Not just that. There's even in the modern day sense, you got, I remember seeing a video of a Jake creating a remote-controlled garden. What do you call them machines, man? Those machines that you use to cut grass. I forgot, man. Wait, hold on. Garden cutter machine. Garden cutter machine. What's it called, man? I guess you could call it a grass trimmer. No, I'm gonna just call it the grass trimmer machine. But yeah, that grass trimmer, Jay actually found a way to remote control it, man. So again, pioneers of society. That's what Israel is. Let me get that precept. Let me get a precept here as well. Because even King Solomon, you could liken as an example of the intellect of Jake as well, man. When it came to the preparation of the temple, well, of the house of the Most High. So First Kings, I read, that's just referring to the materials of whom he chose, man, and the wisdom of which he was blessed with. Of course, in the previous chapter, I think in chapter 2 or chapter 3, in terms of him praying for wisdom. And of course, this is an example of that wisdom, that intelligence, which was shown as he was building the house, man, onto Yahweh. So this is 1 Kings 5:1. And Hiram, the king of Tyre, Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David, man, the father of Solomon, which Solomon in the spirit is Yahweh Shai. So thou knowest how that David my father could not build an house unto the name of the Lord Yahweh, his power, for the walls which were about him on every side, until the Lord Yahweh put them under the soles of his feet. So of course David couldn't do it, so Solomon's going to do it. So but now the Lord Yahweh my power hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring. And behold, I purpose to build an house unto the name of the Lord Yahweh my power, as the Lord Yahweh spake unto David my father, saying, thy son, whom I will set upon thy throne in thy room, he shall build an house unto my name. Now therefore command thou they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with thy and my servants shall be with thy servants, and unto thee. So this was the negotiation process, and between Hiram, the king of Tyre, and King Solomon. And unto thee will I give hire for thy servants according to all that thou shalt appoint, for thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber like unto the Sidonians. So the Sidonians were seen as specialists, man. Let me even see what it says there. You know, here it says, get something good. So yeah, man, it says Sidonians means sea hunting, man. So I guess that's what Sidonians refer to. Sea hunting. Let's see. But yeah, man, so they were the specialists in hold on, in that craft of hewing timber, hewing wood, which is really just using a tool in order to carve out wood, you know, in a certain manner. So it says, and it came to pass, and obviously Sidonians were in the region of Sidon, you know, as we saw in the root word there. But anyways, it came to pass when Hiram heard the words of Solomon that he rejected greatly, and said, "Blessed be the Lord." He read Salakia, and read that again. 1 Kings 5:7. And it came to pass when Hiram heard the words of Solomon that he rejoiced greatly, and said, "Blessed be the Lord Yahweh this day, which hath given unto David a wise son over this great people." You know, so, and Hiram went to Solomon, saying, "I have considered the things which thou sentest to me for, and I will do all thy desire concerning timber of cedar and concerning timber of fir." You know, so even just the simple fact that Solomon said, you know, to bring cedar, timber of cedar, you know, that shows the intelligence of Jake right there. You know why? Because watch what happens when we see the advantages of using cedar, man. This is when you got wisdom. This is when you got intelligence, and this is what Jake was blessed with, man, innately. So advantages of cedar wood. It says in the AI overview, cedar wood offers several advantages, including natural resistance to decay, insects, and moisture, making it durable and long-lasting materials for various applications. Its aromatic oils also provide a pleasant scent, and help repel pests. You know that you got that's knowledge right there, man. That is knowledge right there. To be able to discern and know that, okay, use this type of wood instead of another type of wood. You know, that's Jake right there with that innate intelligence, man. You know, from King Solomon himself, you know, which is Yahushua. So it says here, rot and decay resistance. Cedar contains natural oils and tannins that act as preservatives, making it highly resistant to rot and decay. So it would last long, man. Remember, this was a house of the Most High, so of course you had to, you know, the materials used had to be diligently researched prior to actually decide, okay, we're going to use this for that for this. You know, so, you know, that's why, you know, it took some time. So insect repellent, the aromatic oil in cedar also deter insects like termites and moths, protecting the wood from damage. Moisture resistance. It says cedar is naturally resistant to moisture, which helps prevent warping, shrinking, and cupping, common issues with other wood types. So again, innate intelligence of Jake, man. You know, so let me get the video again.
Host is his name.
And you know what it is too, right? It's really time for Esau to relinquish power.
Yep.
And that's the reason why their kids are failing in everything that they're doing right now. They're starting to get on the curses now. But the point that I'm making though is these people have been entitled for years, and their offsprings have been more comfortable. So again, I mean, why would they need to put in the work? They don't have to put the work in. Because they're coming from, well-to-do backgrounds, good families, and all.
You know what that's reflecting now? It's reflecting that white privilege still exists in terms of job roles, but capability.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
It's on the decline.
So what you're gonna have in these jobs is the white man will currently still get the top positions, but you'll find that his team under him know the job better than him.
Yeah.
Because his workforce are smarter than him.
Yeah. The managers, the Edomites of whom are managing Jake, they're incompetent. They're not able to do the task. And Jake are competent, which means they're able to successfully do the task.
So the only reason Esau still gets the management roles is because I'm white and I'm privileged.
Yeah.
But if you want to actually talk about intellect and smarts, whoa, come on, man. Like,
Remember, we mentioned, I mentioned about King Solomon, man. The fact that he chose cedarwood, I'm just, focusing on cedarwood right there. Of course, I could do the benefits of all the other ones, but just to keep the lesson simple, just cedarwood alone, man, that showed you the wisdom that Yahweh bestowed upon him, man. I remember that wisdom and knowledge, which is, of course, intelligence is part of, actually was a blessing unto Jake. I'm bring out that precept soon, but let me let the video play some more.
like Jake be running the show.
They can't even write emails, man.
They can't write emails. Everything is slap it in ChatGPT. Now, look, I'll put it like this here. I'm not against ChatGPT writing stuff for you, but I'm only with you using it if you know how to read and write yourself. If you don't know how to read and write yourself, you should stay far from ChatGPT, because the day the PT goes down, you're fucked.
That's true, because you never know when a blackout would happen, man. Remember, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, there was this very small moment where it's like the city went black. Literally the mains just turned off. I looked out the window just to see if it happened, and then it literally happened, man. The city just went black, in central London. But yeah, man, these things can happen. And also just on the ChatGPT thing as well. Of course, Captain's still gonna mention it too. Captain Yoramia here, the one who's talking currently. But the point is that ChatGPT, yes, is helpful, but you have to actually have the skill already prior to using it as an assistant. Let's say for those of us that may use it for, work or school or whatever. Because I actually had a friend, back in university a few years back, when we had a project to submit, to make some kind of a Sudoku game, just a little portion of it. He was he was finished, man. He was asking ChatGPT to create the code. He was copy and pasting the code onto the the development environment, and then all in all, he started to copy the code back into ChatGPT to correct it. But ChatGPT ain't even powerful enough to do that, man. So he was just redigesting the same bullshit back into ChatGPT without being able to actually discern the actual problem within the code. So that's why, it's a similar thing to what Captain's saying. If you don't know how to write, you should just stay away from ChatGPT. Learn little by little how to write, whatever skill that you want to use ChatGPT for. Learn it yourself first, then use ChatGPT as an assistant, to help speed up certain tasks. And that's it, man. You gotta actually have the skill before you're able to use something that would assist you. Use a tool like ChatGPT to assist you, because if you don't know the skill, you can't discern if ChatGPT is giving you bullshit, which it does give you bullshit at times. So again, discernment.
So if you can't read and write and formulate your own sentences, you have no business being on the chat. So what you're realizing is that AI, and there's another study on that, AI is actually decreasing people's mental capacity.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, you heard it right there, man. It's decreasing people's mental capacity. I got a little article on that. Just a little bit. Maybe I might even get another one, but this is really the one that I could find in terms of how recent it is as well. But it says mental health implications of artificial intelligence adoption, the crucial role of self-efficacy. So artificial intelligence, really, I'll be saying, is reducing self-efficacy. Now let's research the definition of self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the belief in one's own ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. It's the belief that you're able to successfully do something. That's what it's saying there. Let's get to Cambridge Dictionary. Self-efficacy, it says a person's belief that they can be successful when carrying out a particular task. You see, if you can't actually innately do it yourself, you can't just completely trust AI to do it for you, because you won't know where the problems will come up, if there are problems, and there will be problems, because AI is still in its I guess you could call it early phases, but it's growing fast. It's growing very fast, and we already know that from all the news that's coming out. So anyways, self-efficacy, a person's belief that they can be successful when carrying out a particular task. So you just believe that you can do it. That's what self-efficacy is. But AI, on the other hand, reduces this. Now let's see. Don't read the whole of it, but okay, let me read the first paragraph and then the first two sentences, then I'll skip on to the key parts. It says the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence in organizations has transformed the nature of work, presenting both opportunities and challenges for employees. This study utilizes several theories to investigate the relationship between AI adoption, job stress, burnout, and self-efficacy. Remember, the belief that you're able to do a task successfully. Self-efficacy in AI learning. So a 3-wave time lag. Let me get to the point. Hold on. So I'll start from here. Hold on. Yeah, I'll start from there. The results also show that AI adoption significantly increases job stress, thus increasing burnout. Furthermore, self-efficacy in AI learning was found to moderate the relationship between AI adoption and job stress, with higher self-efficacy weakening the positive relationship. So really, let me get back to the other point where it says AI adoption significantly increases job stress. Of course, let's say if the manager is aware that you're open to using the tool of ChatGPT, for example, AI tools, that would then demand a much higher work rate, you could say, either work rate or much higher output demanded from you, since the assumption is, you could use the AI tool, but not everyone is as apt to use it. That's the thing. So not everyone is as self-efficient to use the AI tool. So that's just one way that you can increase job stress. Another way is also just the fact that you're using it And people are fearing that AI is going to make them lose their jobs because it's going to just lead to the automation of their tasks. So let's see what happens here. And then the other part, it says here, hold on. Yeah, it says, furthermore, self-efficacy in AI learning was found to moderate the relationship between AI adoption and job stress. So the AI learning is supposed to decrease job stress and also increase one's ability to adopt AI. So with higher self-efficacy, weakening the positive relationship. So of course, self-efficacy, someone being able to successfully do something, that would weaken the relationship between AI adoption and job stress, which means when one is more able to do a task, it means they're less likely to have job stress from AI adoption, especially when the higher self-efficacy is on AI learning. Hope you all can get that. The point is, the higher the skill people have, the less stress that they will have in a job, because AI adoption is easier for them because they've learned it. So these findings highlight the importance of considering mediating and moderating mechanisms that shape employee experiences in the context of AI adoption. Let's see. Yeah, that's the point right there, man. Just people getting job stress based on AI as well, man. So let's see. Even on that point as well, just thinking. Again, I've already explained it. Captain's already explained it. If you're not able to do a task and then you just delegate it to the AI, that's not really helping you learn, or not helping your brain really. Because when you give your brain new challenges, that's when you actually form new neurons. They call it neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons. But when you're just allowing other things, other tools to do it for you, those neurons aren't being strengthened, man. So hence people theoretically get dumber. That's why you shouldn't be too dependent on the AI, So that's just the point there, just to support what Captain said, man. Let's get back to the video.
Don't think, don't want to reason within themselves, don't want to talk to people, don't want to formulate their own sentences. Oh, ChatGPT. And you can do it with anything. You can do it with anything. You can just say, ChatGPT, make me a business model for selling the best ice creams. Give it 30 seconds. Please advise an expert. Give you a full business plan.
Yeah. And I mean, it's okay to use it because everything involves balance. But when you're using it to depend on, that's when it goes wrong. That's when you will become a stupid ass.
You see it in the offices, live in the flesh. These Edomites, they can't do shit. They can't write emails. They don't know how conflict resolution. They don't know anything about that. They're in the meeting trying to tell you what to do, but you can see they're not confident in that boardroom, right? The palms get sweaty in that. The computer's not working. Now you're just nervous, man. Take a breath, drink some water.
Yeah, certain of these Edomites are funny, man. I remember back in the day as well, a few years back at university, there was actually an Edomite in a computer room, man. I was just doing my work, and all the way on the other side of the computer room, I just heard flipping. That Edomite was getting angry. She couldn't solve a problem, and then she was just flipping, banging the darn keyboard. Like, when just imagine the Edomite flipping, banging a darn keyboard, man, making noise. Fortunately for her, there weren't many of us in the computer room, so of course, she had her own demons on her, anyways. But yeah. These Edomites, a lot of them are very incompetent, and also they lack the patience as well, and the resilience for problem solving too. Because problem solving requires patience. It requires patience. Remember, first scripture we brought out was Genesis 25:23. One nation shall be stronger than the other. One people shall be stronger than the other. That's the name of the video as well.
I'm down, start again.
You know how they style it out. I'm Johnny.
Can I pick your brains a minute?
Yeah. Can I pick your brains? You're the fucking boss. You're the fucking boss, but you want to pick my brains. You should be telling me what to do. But again, it goes back to the education system. You're white niggas. You are white niggas. That's what we gonna call you now. You're the new nigga. You white niggas are losing, man. And it starts with the school system.
And you know it too as well, and what it is, like I said, is because of the structure that they've been under has given them so much opportunity. And then to add insult into injury, they've been influenced by the mainstream media to just be feminine. Under this, man. So now when it comes time to really, get into business, they don't have the heart to do it because they're feminized. Or the word feminine means to not have no faith. So they don't have faith in their system because their system distorted their minds to be that way. Added, coupled with the comfortability that they've been having.
Hey man, the corporate Edomite is through. And we can talk about that passionately because some of us brothers be in that world, man. The corporate Edomite is through. They're as the elder said, they're totally feminine.
Yeah.
The heads forward, them shoulders up. You know what I mean? That bass out the voice. And and then on top of that, they've got no sense in their head. You're just looking at a hot mess.
Yeah.
But you have to respect that image. Because if you don't respect that image, and
But yeah, man, on that point as well, hold on, let me get a precept as well. Because they are children of fools, aren't they? So them being through, it was inevitable. Most I just allowed them to rise up for a certain bit of time and then that's it. Job 30:8, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. So that's Esau Edom for you right there, man. Children of fools is a summary of the state that they're in, and they're fulfilling that. They're fulfilling that, and Jake is realizing this too.
not the bass out your voice, we think you're intimidating us and all that kind of shit. I remember one time one of the jobs, Edomite reported me to HR, said that my cologne was domineering. She actually said it. I get nervous around him because of his smell. But then they could come to the job smelling frowsy with a head forward. You know what I mean? Frowsy. But you gotta respect that. We don't respect. Look, man, we're under the illusion no more. You Edomites are through, and that's why, quickly before we go back to what is the Quran, we got Baba Kushar. Second Ezra 6 and 9, because next up, they say is Moab. And if it wasn't for Israel, Moab would be next.
And then they also say even Russia could be next.
Russia.
Because those are two major superpowers, well, by the worldly perspective, geopolitics and all that. But nevertheless, they're simply just two nations that will play a simple part in prophecy to go against Babylon the Great.
Just prophecy, go on, bro.
Second Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Ouch!
There you go. Straight to the point. Esau's the end of the world, man. So who's next? Jacob, man. And you know what? You think you're so intellectual? We're gonna show you what intellect is. We're gonna show you what real wisdom is. Every single time.
Yep.
Every single time an Israelite intervened in another nation's economy, it thrived. Egypt is what it is because of Joseph. They actually said that when you go to the top of the pyramids and where they actually built, each one was built, and the dimensions of it all, it's up to 98.7 accuracy of true north. So they weren't just, fuck it, let's build it here then. Nah.
I found something else on that as well, man. On those, I think they call it the Pyramids of Giza. Let's, I think I've got an article here. But yeah, that's a lot of accuracy. Only Jake will be able to do that, man. And there ain't no bullshit of workers doing it. No, it was slaves that did it. Can't tell me otherwise. Right, let's get it. So it says here the mathematical encoding in the Great Pyramid. You know, again, this is something else, but it's kind of related to what Captain said here. Just want to get to the key part. So these are just like different shapes, alluding to the pyramid, and also another, how can I say this? Other ways as well, such as, you know, equilateral triangle, how accurate it is. I won't really get into that, but there's something interesting that I found. Yeah, right here. So it says if you circumscribe the pyramid elevation triangle and then measure the circle's diameter, which hold on, I think circumscribe means to get a circle around it. But diameter of a circle, that's just if you put a line at the middle of a circle, that's the diameter. From one end to another, that's the diameter. The radius is half a diameter. Now let's see, define circumscribe. So to circumscribe, it says restrict something within limits. It says draw a figure round another, touching it at points but not cutting it. Okay, so it means touching it at points but not cutting it. And draw a figure around another. Yeah, that's what it's referring to here. The figure around the triangle was a circle, because the circle's touching at 3 points here. You know, 1, 2, and then 3. So that's the circumscribing. You know, when you draw a figure on top of another one, but touching certain points. So if you circumscribe the pyramid's elevation triangle, you know, this gray, dark gray triangle within where you got the 3 circles, it says elevation triangle, and then measure the circle's diameter. Remember, one end of the circle to another. It says this equals 777.7 feet, which is 99.97% accurate, with a slope of 51 degrees and 51 inches. It says and the base length of 755.775 feet. It says in addition, the inscribed circles shown below in red and blue have circumferences of 777 feet and 7,777 inches respectively. It says sevens abound. Now you know what 7 means? You know, completion. It could also mean perfection as well. You know, so really that just shows you how the level that Jake had, man. Despite being a slave, the level which Jake had to implement this, man. You know, in fact, hold on, let me see. I think there's another video as well. I want to see if it's hold on. I don't think it's here. Just bear with me. I mean, if not, because really it was slaves, man. You know, there was just this Edomite that was saying that it was workers, but it weren't workers. It was flipping slaves. You know, hold on. Alright, I found it.
Did the Israelites build the pyramids?
Well, if you like DreamWorks' Prince of Egypt, they'll say, yes, the Israelites built the pyramids, but no, they didn't. The pyramids were built by workers. It was a huge system. And in fact, around the Giza Plateau where the Great Pyramids are built, they've uncovered tombs. And you can see workers that had broken bones and they've been set and healed. You're not going to do that to someone that's a slave class. And also they found
even the comments flipping what's it called? The comments disagree strongly with this guy as well, man. Certain comments actually disprove what he said, man. But let me let him say his bullshit.
Going to do that to someone that's a slave class. And also they found papyri, and these are inventories, records of how many cows they needed to kill to feed the workers, how many gallons of beer they needed to brew. And we've even found inventories of how many blocks were being built and transported to the Giza Plateau. The archaeological evidence reveals that this was a well-oiled industry that was building the pyramids.
Did the
But yeah, man, where's that comment? There was just that one comment that I saw as well. Hold on. Because Jay was the one who did it, man. Oh no, was it this one? Yeah, fair. That's probably something good too. Yeah, it's true. As this guy said, RP Fragrance, that doesn't mean that there were no Israelite. The point is, there were Israelite workers, man. There were Israelite slaves. They could eat as well. All you got to do is just read Exodus chapter 1. And you're going to see how they were put in bondage, man, after the rulership of Joseph, man, after his generation and himself passed away. But yeah, hold on. Let's see. Let me see what this guy said. Alright, let's skip that one. That guy's on another level. I'm bug out. During the time of Joseph, they weren't slaves. Where's the darn comment, man? Hold on. I mean, even in Exodus chapter 1, they said they built structures. I'ma get it, don't worry. I'ma get the precepts. I'm just looking for that what's it called? That thing, man. That it might even be this guy. The amazing Shazbob. Wasn't that a complaint of the Israelites when they were hungry in the desert following Moses? They whined that under Pharaoh they could eat meat. Yeah, exactly. Exodus chapter 14, 15, and 16. If you read one of those, that's what they actually did. They were complaining that they could actually eat and drink water. So the biblical story includes that the Israelites talking about being well fed under their slave status and being happier as laborers under Pharaoh when the times got tough, which is why the Lord gave them manna to eat. Yeah, so of course this guy speaking some truth here. Let's see. It says, curious as to what source tells you that a slave's broken arm would have not been bound for healing. Yeah, I mean, you look, man. Jay, obviously prior to Moses entering the scene, Jay was still able to, I guess, have some peace despite being slaves under the Egyptians, man. The Egyptians still had them, a certain ability. They could access how can I say this? They had facility access, just like the modern day today. But of course, as soon as Moses came to the scene to free them, that's when Pharaoh really went hard on them, so yeah, man. But yeah, it was definitely Jay that were building those pillars, man. Again, form of all things, Jeremiah 51 and 19. Anyways, let me get a precept on that. Just hold on. Yeah, just hold on. It should be around there somewhere. Now, there was this. Read from verse 6, Exodus 1 and verse 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto the people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. So get them up out of the land. So of course this was when Pharaoh began to clamp down. So yeah, he clamped down before Moses even entered the scene. He was clamping down, but of course not as much as when Moses entered into the scene. So he was clamping down in terms of the severity of bondage, but there was more severity after Moses entered into the scene. So therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities. Remember, Pithom and Raamses, man. So of course, Jake was building these things, man. The pyramids as well. You know, so that shows you right there. It says treasure cities, which would have included certain monuments, Pithom and Raamses. It says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. So it's like, whatever they did, they couldn't do nothing. But yeah, that's really the point there to support that. Alright, let's see something now, yeah. But yeah, you can see all the 777, which means completion, man. Jake is the form of all things. They're the ones who got given the wisdom. And you know, our wisdom is these scriptures. Now let me show you something. Psalms 147 and then verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So this is also a form of intelligence as well that Israel is supposed to have. Now, of course, you know, 2/3 they haven't been granted this, but for us in this truth, we've been given the ability to learn of this as well, of the statutes and judgments in the true understanding that we've been of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So yeah, Israel has been given the statutes and judgments, which is part of our wisdom. And a further precept to support that is this. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So we're the ones who are supposed to lead. We're the ones who are supposed to be on top. You know, there's a reason why it says 777, because Jake was the one who completed it, man. And again, 7 means completion. It can also mean perfection too. So yeah, man, you see all of those 7s right there, man. You know, so as the article says, mathematical encoding in the great pyramid. So it took a very intelligent man to create this, man. And Jake is not dumb. Of course, nowadays you could say that because of the shit society that we're in as well, and all the other things that diminishes us. But point is, innately, Jake is not stupid, man. You know, especially when you consider all the past works and the pioneers as well. The form of all things. So yeah, man, I'm gonna close it out soon, man. But yeah, that's really the point there. Let me see something.
Fuck it, let's build it here then. Nah, but who brought mathematics to Egypt? It was Abraham. That's well documented. Our forefathers knew the sciences of mathematics, chemistry, physics, okay, astrology, astronomy, all of that, man. It was all in our people, man. That's that.
Calm. And I also there's also other books to support that as well, such as the Josephus. I remember Apostle Ramla also doing a video a very long time ago on that. You know, but yeah, man, Yaratazar, I gotta get that book too and start studying it so that, you know, bring out some more information. But yeah, man, let me just get something. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, because in this article, the Josephus is actually referenced a lot, you know, which refers to certain men like Abraham as well. It says Abraham, and this is from Armstrong Institute of Biblical Archaeology. Abraham, father of nations, and a scientist, mathematician, and astronomer. You know, so Jake were polymaths, man. You know, polymath just simply means a man of many skills. You know, one who's able to master many skills as well. So yeah, Jake was just a nation of polymaths. If you wanna, if you understand what I mean. But yeah, it says ancient records speak of an astronomer among the Chaldeans who had a special relationship with the mighty power. And yeah, obviously this is a false image. This is very. Anyways, let's get to the point. Let's read this one and then Yaratazar. I'm gonna obviously skip a paragraph just to get to the point. So history records a man who lived 10 generations after a great flood, who used celestial science, you know, that's talking about space, to prove the existence of the Most High. He was a skilled scientist, astronomer, and mathematician. And that's a deadly combo right there. Of course, when I say deadly, I'm talking about it's a strong combo. Science, you know, scientist, astronomer, and mathematician. His astronomical discoveries shook the foundation of Babylonian religion. He heavily influenced Egyptian and Mesopotamian scientific thought. He says he led armies that altered the course of world history, and all this took place before he became forefather of Arab, Turk, and Israelite people, man. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, they're talking about Abraham. Let's see, chief scientist of the Chaldees. Yeah, man, hold on, let me see. All right, let's read this one. Chief scientist of the Chaldeans, Abraham was born in the city of Ur, which I think also refers to the fire of the place. You know, if you go to that verse, but you know, let's continue. In the land of the Chaldees, sometime in the early 2nd millennium BCE, before Common Era, the city was then near the outskirts of the rapidly expanding Old Babylonian Empire. The pagan Babylonian priesthood publicly taught that the masses to believe that the sun, moon, and stars and planets were gods. You know, so they were worshipping the creation and not the creator, which is Yahweh. That's the mindset of the Babylonians. So these priests used their knowledge of astronomy to predict the movements of the heavenly bodies, deceiving the masses into thinking they could communicate with the gods of the Babylonian pantheon. So yeah, man, strong delusion that the Most High put upon them. Let's see. There was a part that Josephus was actually referred to here. Yeah, it says here, Josephus further records that a young man, Abraham, determined to renew and change the opinion all men happened then to have concerning the Most High. For he was the first that ventured to publish this notion, this idea, that there was but one power, the creator of the universe. And yeah, and you got other references here, such as the Antiquities of the Jews, 1.7.1. So these are records, other books as well, other references to back the point. So it says Abraham was teaching the people of Chaldea about the one true creator, which is Yahweh. Right, so stars. So it says Abraham taught that the stars and planets were only physical objects created by the one true power, What many historians are unwilling to admit is that Abraham possessed advanced astronomical knowledge that would not be rediscovered for thousands of years. Josephus further records that Abraham wasn't the first astronomer on his family. The study of astronomy originated with Seth, the third son of Adam. He wrote that the Most High gave those who lived before the flood such long life that they might perfect those things which they had invented in astronomy. So, you know, obviously this thing goes quite deep, man, but point really is this originated with Jake, man. We know that the line of the Israelites is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. So, you know, Israel's on another level, man. Remember, as the article states, Abraham, father of nations and a scientist, mathematician, and astronomer. So, we're not dumb, man. We're not dumb. Edomites, on the other hand, they are.
Okay?
And proof that they are dumb is their inevitable end. And just watch and see.
But then here comes the Greeks. Oh yeah, we invented mathematics. That's a lie. You know what happened? Abraham taught them Hamites, and then the Greeks went over to Africa. It was in Alexandria, and that university over there, and that's where the Greeks learnt mathematics. And then they took it back and said to their land, was it Kittim? And they said they called it after their own name. So everything in mathematics has a Greek connotation to it. Pythagoras, pi. You know, the circumference of a circle, 3.14. Varying to 3.17.
22 over 7.
22 over 7, 3.14. You think brothers are dunce? We know this shit up here, man. You know? Some of us brothers are fucking engineers up here, man. What are you talking about, bro? We know this shit, man. But that's our people, man. And you go to the school system, oh, white man, oh, you're so smart. Nah, man. Stupid. But then Egypt, Martyr got built up by who? The slaves. Remember,
we just went into that article, man. We just went into that, man. You know, obviously there's other numbers as well, but that's just you can see as other shapes being fit in a more, how can I say this, in a more succinct manner. But yeah, it's just how, you know, as it was called, mathematical encoding within the pyramids. You know, but that one where I saw the 777, that's the one that I wanted to specialize in. Of course, there were also other ones. You know, you had the 666. You know, so just in case if you do check out that article, you would see that. I think that's when it was about the 2 circles and a square inside of it. You know, which 6 represents man. It could also mean reflection as well. And yeah, but obviously, yes, man built it, but that inspiration, that intelligence came of Yahweh, man. That's why completion is there. You know, 777 for the 3 circles. So the circumferences. But anyways, that's...
into Egypt a number that's 70. Yeah. And by the time we left after 400 years, it was a couple of 100,000 of us, man.
Yeah, we read it in Exodus 2. You know, they multiplied and they waxed stronger, man. They multiplied, but actually not Exodus 2, Exodus 1, you know, between verses 1 to actually verses 5 and 6 around there, but it's in Exodus 1, the earlier verses.
Hey? Who else, man? Daniel, the water.
But yeah, man, that's it, Kim. This one's probably gonna be a long video. But yeah, Shalom, Yabashim Yashai, Brakatha. And also double honors to the great Muslim apostles. Shalom.